This tutorial video looks at superannuation and people's options when they get to retirement age. So first of all, the vast majority of Australians today will accumulate a retirement lump sum through their superannuation fund. This is a compounding interest arrangement whereby it will grow throughout your working career until you get to retirement age, and at which point you can withdraw the money. By law, the employer has to make a contribution towards your superannuation fund, and of course you too can make additional contributions towards your superannuation fund. The more that you make as a contribution, the greater the superannuation at the end of your retirement. So let's look at an example. Mr. Jones is age 25 and is planning to retire at 65 years of age. He estimates that he needs $900,000 in his superannuation fund to provide for his retirement. His current superannuation fund has a balance of $20,000 and is delivering 8% per annum compounded monthly. Task 1. We're asked to calculate the combined monthly contribution of Mr. Jones and his employer. That is how much money is being deposited every month. And task number 2. If in the final 15 years before retirement, Mr. Jones adds an additional $500 to his monthly contribution, calculated in task 1, calculate the new lump sum for retirement. So let's look at the first task to work out the combined monthly contribution of Mr. Jones and his employer. First of all, from 25 to 60 represents 35 years, and we are looking at compounding monthly, so we need to put this in as 35 lots of 12, which comes out to 420 months for the number of terms or payments. The interest is, as always, per annum when you're using the finance solver, and it's 8%. The present value is $20,000. It's in the bank. It's a cash flow from Mr. Jones to the superannuation account, and so that's a negative. Of course, we're trying to find the payment, so we'll leave that blank for now. The future value hoped for is $900,000. That's what we're calculating towards. There are 12 monthly contributions made per year, and there are 12 monthly compounded interests as well per year. So 12 is the compounding period per year. Of course, we are looking for the payment. Now, you can use your financial solver to do this calculation. Menu, Finance, Finance Solver. Here we have it. So first of all, we had 420 months, 8% per annum, minus 20,000, or 20,000 negative. Payment we're trying to calculate. Future value is 900,000. And this is 12 payments per year with 12 compounding periods per year. So this calculation predicts we'll need to make a combined combination from the employer and Mr. Jones of $250 and roughly 30 cents. And that's what we find happens. Mr. Jones and his employer would have to make a combined contribution of $250.30. Task number 2 says, if in the final 15 years before retirement, Mr. Jones adds an additional $500 to his monthly contribution that we just calculated, calculate the new sum for retirement. So visually you can see I've got here in the blue the first 20 years, and then in green the final 15 years, reaching all the way from 25 to 45 and then finally 60 years of age. So during the first 20 years, we find that we have 20 years by 12 gives us 240 months. We have 8% interest, starting with $20,000. We've worked out our payments, so it will be $250.30, and it's compounding 12 times per year, and it's being paid in 12 times a year. So let's first of all work out the future value after 20 years of the initial terms of investment. So this time it was 240 months, still 8%, still a negative 20,000 put in. We're going to work out what the future value will be in 20 years when we have 12 periods per year and compounding periods per year. Okay, so this predicts we will have, after 20 years with our initial arrangement, $245,965.35. There we have it. So that's the end of the 20 years using our initial terms of investment. Now we look at our final 15 years we must appreciate that the end balance after 20 years is really the initial balance for the final 15 years with the new terms of investment. As long as we've got that clear, we should be fine. So the red arrow indicates that what was the final balance after 20 years is now the initial balance, or the principal value, or the present value for 15 years. And again, let's put our data in. So we now have remaining 180 months for our 15 years. The rate stays the same. Our current value here, if we copy that and paste that in as our present value, and of course put a negative on the front because it's money we're investing, our payments now go from 750 up to, from 250 rather, plus another 500 to 750. We'll work out our new final value at the end of the remaining 15 years. And of course, it's payments per year of 12 and compounding periods per year of 12 as well. And that comes out to $1,073,019.11. And we can see after the final 15 years, the balance of the superannuation is, as we said, $1,073,019.11. Okay, now finally we want to take that amount as our lump sum superannuation and look at two options. Option number one is we've got a perpetuity that offers a monthly payment at 10% per annum, compounded monthly, and option two, a reducing balance annuity, also pays monthly at 8% per annum, compounded monthly. For the reducing balance, we're assuming that Mr. Jones will live till 90 years, and we want to find out which option will provide the higher monthly payment. So in the first arrangement, we've got a perpetuity, so N goes in as 1. The interest is 10%. The present value we have is the amount that we've retired with in our lump sum. And of course, that will not deteriorate. With a perpetuity, from the word perpetual, the amount we start with is what we finish with. We don't use up any of the capital. It's just interest being paid out per payment month. So again, its payment per year is 12 and compounding period per year is 12 as well. So for this example, let's put our data in. Again, we only need 1 as our number of terms for a perpetuity. It was a 10% per annum. Our future value, we will copy no, it's not working very well. Let's type it in firsthand. Okay, so we've got $1,073,019 rather, and 11,081 cents. Our payments is what we're actually trying to calculate this time. We can live off this money, and at the end we'll have exactly the same principal. Our capital will not have changed at all. 12 and 12 for the PPY and the CPY. Okay, and this tells us with this perpetuity, every month we'll get $8,941 and roughly 83 cents. And there we have it. So that's our first option. Option 1 with a perpetuity. Option number 2 is reduced balance annuity. It's 8% per annum, paid monthly, and we're assuming this person will live for 90 years. So from 60 to 90 is 30 years. 30 years by 12 gives the total number of months of 360. And our interest is 8%, starting with the same present value. And this time, however, we're going to use up all our dollars in the 30 years, so our future value will be 0. So we go to our financial solver. The number of months was 360. Just double check that, make sure I got that right. Yes, 360 months for our 30 years, 8% per annum. Our principal value is correct. Our future value will be 0 as we're going to consume all our dollars, and we want to work out what our payment is. So with this arrangement, we've got $7,873.43 rounded. And there we have it. So comparing the two, option 1, the perpetuity, gave us a payment of $8,941.83, and option 2, our reducing balance annuity over 30 years at 8% per annum compounded monthly, was $7,873.43. So of these two options, it It is option 1, the perpetuity at 10% per annum compounded monthly that provide the better monthly payment.